Welcome back to PlayStation Corner. My name is Alex and today we're taking a look at RiMS racing on the PlayStation 5, a motorbike experience that's not from milestone first off, a diversion from the genre expectations I guess in itself. So is this one worth your time and is it worth your cash? Well, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family and let's get started. So straight into gameplay then, and we'll start here with modes. RiMS Racing has a decent selection of options. This includes single race where you'll determine bike, track, weather and rules. We get the opening tutorial of course as well, which starts the game. We then also get multiplayer options as well, which include custom events, challenges and split screen 1v1 race duels. The main mode though most will be coming here for though, it's gotta be career mode, which is absolutely a beast in itself. If you want depth, then RiMS Racing absolutely has it in both a positive and honestly a negative way as well. The concept here though, you are a new rider, you are out to win what is known as the RiMS World Championship. It's content rich, no question. It throws you into 70 events to face off against to prove you are the best, whether that's let's say a time trial event, facing challenges like beat a lap time or section time, or of course get into that race field and beat out the competition. With these 70 events as well, then you get control over your calendar, with many offering you different options, like maybe this week you'll race or maybe you'll simply take a week off, take a break. This career mode then, it's based within your own HQ and it's relatively detailed, including your calendar, your bike, research, management or lodgings. Before we get into these areas though, it's worth knowing following each victory you'll earn cosmetics, in-game currency and team points. These are going to be what you use to build out your team, build out your racer, build out your bike. So breaking these down, research, that is a skill tree. It's developing different areas of your bike. To do this, you can expect to pay up in either team points or even hit objectives. Management then, same thing, but here this skill tree, maybe you'll get discounts in the store or bonus cash for items you are selling. Finally, for the less important, I guess would be the best description, lodgings. Here you can customize your biker and change out all of those earned cosmetics. The real gameplay though comes down to those bikes and those events. The bike is just a huge undertaking and it's more than a little intimidating honestly, offering a mechanic to both repair and replace with better parts, a store to buy said new parts or even sell off those old ones, replenishing that bank account. You can even change your bike and then of course you can tune it as well. The depth here, it is huge. Think suspension, absorbers, gears and tires, just to name a few. It's designed for those that know their bikes, there is no question about it. Rounding out what's known as in-game the motorbike stand then, we get engineering, another skill tree which is really built around the condition and the stability of your bike. On the track then, you can also expect tyre selection as well alongside pit stops. It's incredibly in-depth and it may be the game's biggest issue honestly. This is not beginner friendly because it has no career mode, which is simply, race. It's all or nothing, and I know for many that may just be too much. Even pit stops and mechanical changes, they are met with mini games that are borderline quick time events. It's a decent enough idea to get you involved, but it's actually quite funny. It's a game that's looking to add your involvement, that realism, but its approach, that quick time event, couldn't feel more like a game. When it comes to on track then, we do get a few options first off that do at least make it a little bit more accessible. Think beginner through hard for both bike physics and also opponent AI. The bike, it controls well enough. I will say here easy, it's for sure not that. This is simulation through and through, and I would describe easy more as I guess slightly less punishing. Fortunately though, when it comes to the AI of our opponents, easy really is an extremely slow pace, and you should even after like a couple of mistakes be able to catch up with them and earn that pole position. The bikes, they control nicely with a decent representation of traction and an approach that never feels like it nears arcade gameplay. Brakes here, they are absolutely your friend, and collisions, they will be frequent if you do not play smart. My issue with the controls, the handling, the steering, it feels just, if anything, a little bit too slow honestly. The bike has some nice effects for the kickback of the engine and so on, and that back tyre almost kicking out, but it also feels just a little bit too sluggish at the same time. A fantastic addition though here for controls, the ability to select traction controls on the fly with the press of the D-pad, but also their tuning's value. This was a fun element to experiment with for sure, and I suggest you dive into it. What seems, I guess, very minimalistic, but it actually makes a huge difference. Another area of track control then, it's the motorbike status check. Press the touchpad, you'll fly into a side-on perspective, and this feels next gen as you get a quick overview of what specifically is happening with the bike and whether a pit stop is in need. It's a feature that should become standard in the sim race genre. It's immersive, it's in-depth without being also intimidating, even if it is, I will say, a little awkward to navigate initially. Finally, for controls, a nice use of the DualSense controller as well. The triggers, they kick back, building on that immersion, and yeah, really impressed with the DualSense implementation. Backing up career mode then, expect what's known as Academy mode. This can be considered an extensive tutorial set of options, I guess. You'll unlock them via career, and then also you do get a mode called private testing. Essentially, private testing that is a free roam to just tweak your bike. Here's my issue though with this one: the physics are absolutely leaning into realism, but it still doesn't quite feel right. It's that slow turn letting it down. As I said, then the minigame functionality, it just doesn't kind of fit into the overall fibre of the game. The quick time events, they just don't work, like rotate left stick to attach a new part or complete a pit stop or gas refill. And then just generally, it's lack of support meaning there's no auto tuning gear, auto build, or even mode to play just, the races and get into the action. With career, it's going to be all or nothing, and for some, that's going to be more than fine, but I think audience wise, they could have seen a whole lot more players adding just a little extra accessibility. Visually then, it's okay for PlayStation 5, honestly. There's a few moments that do shine, like the lighting. The lighting is beautiful at points, and then the bikes and bikers, they absolutely look the part. Even the movement, I think they did a good job here at demonstrating shifting the rider's weight into the bike, which is something that's so often a miss. But then everything else, honestly, just a little bit average, if anything. The tracks are relatively bland, especially if you played the recent F1 2021, and they also suffer then from popping, whether that's environmental track pieces, so think like barriers, or even just features of the world itself. The character customization then is also lacking. There's only 2 body options, which I found really kind of strange. It's really, I can't really see much difference between the 2. The rest then, on top of that, largely cosmetic. They do a decent enough job. One area that also seriously disappointed me was the visual effects. Bike damage near non-existent outside of maybe some dirt, and moments like racing in rain, there's a nice water effect on screen, but there's no water kicking back from the tyres of you or the AI. Overall though, look, it's decent enough, I guess. It just never did anything that had me feeling like this is really next gen outside of that swing around camera for bike status, and that's actually just an extremely smart design decision. Also, it absolutely needs just more damage here rather than what amounts to, as I said, just a little bit of dirt. I want to see these bikes get beat up. I want to see the pace that I am putting them through. Audio finally, and soundtrack wise, it's okay, I guess. Lots of electronic music, a dash of rock here and there. It tells you the track name in the lower left corner, like you'll care, but honestly, if anything I had to describe it as, it's pretty much generic at best. It does at least match the intensity and pace though, and I guess that's really the most you can ask for. Sound effects though, it excels, and while there's not a huge amount to it, they did a fantastic job of capturing the sounds of these different engines, and that's, I guess that's everything I could ask for. They sound as aggressive as they look, no question about it. They also make good use of the DualSense speakers here for that additional layer of intensity, whether that's the engines kicking back, or maybe you narrowly avoid a crash scraping down the side of a barrier. You will hear that through the speaker in the controller. So the final verdict, and it's decent stuff if you like your technically advanced sim racers. Honestly though, anyone else, this may just be a little bit too much. Its options then are intimidating with minimal guidance. It's also a weird one. This could easily be more accessible with less, but they skip that, and it's basically all or nothing for the career gameplay. Why they didn't include just event only career mode is beyond me. Also the tuning, the purchases, there's no auto assign option either, so you can't even jump into it and at least get a helping hand. For sim fans then as well, the quick time events for pit stops, bike adaptions, nice idea, might be fun the first couple of times, but what was intended to make it feel more immersive, for me ended up making it feel more like a game over anything else. It's the illusion of depth with a system that is incredibly shallow. Overall for me it's a good 7 out of 10, but you gotta know your bikes and you gotta be ready for the depth this one's gonna force on you. Sure, you can change the opponent AI or the bike physics to make things just that little bit easier, but there's no way to dial down the detail. I wish it had that option, you know, more players will always be a better thing honestly, but I'm also at the same time extremely excited to see where this one now goes next. There's a ton of potential. There's also a few misses, you know, don't get me wrong here, but they seem to be at least good ideas. So let's see what they do with the feedback and see where they take it, hopefully in next year's sequel. Will you be adding this one to the library though, or are you holding onto that cash? With that then, look, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.